A reading from Tobit, chapter 3. I was so embarrassed and ashamed that I sighed and began to cry. Then, as I choked back my tears, I prayed, "You are righteous, O Lord. You are merciful in all you do, faithful in all your ways. You are the judge of this world. I beg you, treat me with kindness. Do not punish me for my sins, not even for sins of which I am unaware. My ancestors rebelled and disobeyed your commands, but do not punish me for their sins. You let our people be plundered, taken captive, and killed. You made an example of our people an object of contempt and disgrace in all the nations where you scattered us. You have often judged my ancestors for their sins and punished me for mine. We were disloyal and rejected your commands, so our punishment has always been just. Now treat me as you please. Take my life away and free me from this world. Let my body return to the earth. I would be better off dead. I am tormented by insults I don't deserve and weighed down with despair. Lord, give the command. Bring all my troubles to an end. Take me to my eternal rest. Don't reject my prayer. I would rather die than live in misery and face such cruel insults. That same day, in the city of Ecbatana in Media, it happened that Sarah, the daughter of a man named Raguel, was insulted by one of her father's servant women. Sarah had been married 7 times, but the evil demon Asmodeus killed each husband before the marriage could be consummated. The servant woman said to Sarah, "You husband killer, look at you. You've already had 7 husbands, but not one of them lived long enough to give you a son. Why should you take it out on us? Why don't you go and join your dead husbands? I hope we never see a child of yours." Sarah was so depressed that she burst into tears and went upstairs, determined to hang herself. But when she thought it over, she said to herself, "No, I won't do it. People would insult my father and say, 'You had only one child, a daughter, whom you loved dearly, but she hanged herself because she felt so miserable.' Such grief would bring my gray-haired father to his grave, and I would be responsible. I won't kill myself. I'll just beg the Lord to let me die. Then I won't have to listen to those insults any longer." Then Sarah stood by the window, raised her arms in prayer, and said, "God of mercy, worthy of our praise, may your name always be honored. May all your creation praise you forever. Lord, I look to you for help. Speak the word and set me free from this life. Then I will no longer have to hear these insults. You know, O Lord, that I'm still a virgin. I have never been defiled by a man. Never have I disgraced myself or my father's name, as long as we have lived in this land of exile. My father has no other child to be his heir, and there is no relative whom I can marry. I have already lost 7 husbands, so why should I live any longer? But if it is not your will to take my life, at least show mercy to me. Don't let me hear those insults again." As Tobit and Sarah were praying, God in heaven heard their prayers and sent his angel Raphael to help them. He was sent to remove the white film from Tobit's eyes so that he could see again, and to arrange a marriage between Sarah and Tobit's son Tobias, who, as her cousin, had the right to marry her. Raphael was also ordered to expel the demon Asmodeus from Sarah. At the very moment that Tobit went back into his house from the courtyard, Sarah, in her house in Ecbatana, was coming downstairs. The word of the Lord. A reading from Tobit chapter 4. That same day, Tobit remembered the money he had left with Gabael at Rages in Media. He thought to himself, "Now that I have asked God to let me die, I should call my son Tobias and tell him about the money." So Tobit called Tobias and said to him, "Son, when I die, give me a proper burial, and after I'm gone, show respect to your mother. Take care of her for the rest of her life, and when she dies, bury her beside me. Remember, she risked her life to bring you into this world. So try to make her happy and never do anything that would worry her. Every day of your life, keep the Lord our God in mind. Never sin deliberately or disobey any of his commands. Always do what is right and never get involved in anything evil. Be honest, and you will succeed in whatever you do. Give generously to anyone who faithfully obeys God. If you are stingy in giving to the poor, God will be stingy in giving to you. Give according to what you have. The more you have, the more you should give. Even if you have only a little, be sure to give something. This is as good as money saved. You will have your reward in a time of trouble. Taking care of the poor is the kind of offering that pleases God in heaven. Do this, and you will be kept safe from the dark world of the dead. Son, be on your guard against prostitutes. Above all, marry a woman of our tribe, because we are descendants of the prophets. Do not marry anyone who is not related to us. Remember that Noah, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, our earliest ancestors, all married relatives. God blessed them with children, and so their descendants will inherit the land of Israel. Son, be loyal to your own relatives. Don't be too proud to marry one of them. Such pride leads to terrible frustration and ruin, just as laziness brings on severe poverty and causes starvation. Pay your workers each day. Never keep back their wages overnight. Honor God in this way, and He will reward you. Behave properly at all times. Never do to anyone else anything that you would not want someone to do to you. do not drink so much wine that you get drunk, and do not let drinking become a habit. Give food to the hungry and clothes to people in need. If you are prosperous, give generously and do it gladly. When one of God's faithful people has died, prepare food for the family. But never do this when someone evil dies. Take the advice of sensible people and never treat any useful advice lightly. Take advantage of every opportunity to praise the Lord your God. Ask Him to make you prosper in whatever you set out to do. He does not give His wisdom to the people of any other nation. He is the source of all good things, but He can also destroy you and bring you to certain death if He wishes. Remember all my instructions. Don't forget them for 1 minute. Tobias, I want you to know that I once left a large sum of money with Gabrias' son, Gabriel, at Rages in Media. We are poor now, but don't worry. If you obey God and avoid sin, He will be pleased with you and make you prosperous. The word of the Lord.